Hi, my name is Corey Allen. I'm with Reparations for Melrose. In this video, my wife Jane Allen will walk us through how to collect and analyze school discipline data for your city. So Jane, take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, Corey. So, as Corey mentioned, this is the Reparations Toolkit for school discipline. And in this toolkit, as in all the toolkits, there'll be an overview of the toolkit, what we can learn from these data, a video tutorial on using the data, which is this, which will be linked, and step-by-step instructions on using the data. So first, just an overview. This toolkit was developed by Reparations for Melrose. We're a group working to end anti-Black systemic racism. And as part of that, we're documenting racial harm with the goal of paving the way for reparations. The idea behind this toolkit is to help municipalities throughout Massachusetts use state data to document racial harms in their own communities. And you can find examples of our work on our website. And if you have any questions or suggestions or just want to connect to share your work with us or to talk, we would love to hear from you. Please email us at reparationsformelrose@gmail.com. So what can we learn from these data? These data are from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and we're going to look at racial inequities in exclusionary school discipline, which is discipline that takes students out of the classroom. So typically this takes the form of suspensions. Um, and suspensions and other exclusionary school discipline are really harmful for all youth and especially for Black youth and youth of color. And the state has advised against use of such discipline for nonviolent offenses since at least 2016. This is where this video will live in the future. And now we're going to move into some step-by-step instructions on using the data. So this is a link to a sheet that we have prepared for you in which you'll analyze the data. And if you right click on it, as I'm doing now, the sheet will open in a new tab. Looks like this. The first thing that you need to do is to make a copy of the sheet and save it to your own computer. This is a read-only file, so you need to make a copy and save it.
Yep. So that's now in your own account, your own Google account.
Great.
Yep.
That is what we want. Okay, good. So the next slide will take you to the data itself, the Massachusetts data. And so again, if you right click, it will open in a new tab. You see that happening up here. And this is what you'll see when you get to the website. So you need to navigate to the data for your own city or town. And you do that by entering using this drop-down menu, or you can type the name of your city or town into this box here. And then you need to click the orange arrow to actually go there. So let's go and look here. I've already entered Melrose, but you can see there's a drop-down menu, a scroll. As I mentioned, you can also type the name of the municipality you want to go to, and then click the orange arrow. If you want to confirm you're in the right place, you can see over here that it says Melrose. Now to go back to the toolkit. So the next step is to navigate to the student data. And you can see that tab is here, second from the left, and I will take you there. See, oops, you see it here. Click on that. And then we're going to navigate to the student discipline data, which is about 2/3 down this sidebar on the left-hand side of your screen. See it here? Click on it. And this is what the student discipline data look like. So, Corey, you mentioned to me earlier that people might find it helpful to know that the data will always take this format, regardless of what city or town you're in Massachusetts, and regardless of what year you're looking at.
Same
So,
number of columns, same number of rows. And that's why what you've copied can work for any city. So
mhm,
the sheet, exactly.
exactly, great. So, um, going back to our toolkit, so we've clicked on school discipline, and now you're seeing a screen that looks just like the actual data that we're looking at. And we want to copy the rows in the table, starting with all students. So the upper left-hand box here. So let's go do that. We're going to copy the data starting with all students. Highlight and copy, however you do that. And then we'll go to our own sheet that we saved down to our own computer. We'll go here and paste the data in. I'm going to go back to the toolkit for a moment and show you that. Yep. So we paste the data in. And as you can see, these colored boxes down here are automatically populating. Let's take a look. So they're automatically populating because behind those cells, we put in some code to calculate these. And so what these boxes show are the discipline rate by race for Black students in the blue box, for white students in the green box, and the Black relative to white rate of discipline in the yellow box. And so this slide helps you understand how to interpret the data. So this is the rate at which Black students are disciplined relative to white students in your city in this year.
So
And oh,
can you
please
get
go
back to
ahead.
the sheet real quick? Just you were showing the math. So just
Mm-hmm,
if you click on the blue 7.0,
mm-hmm,
so that's dividing C12
mm-hmm,
by B12. So there
mm-hmm,
16 Black students were disciplined out of 228 Black students in
mm-hmm.
Melrose. And so that's where that 7% is coming from.
Exactly.
And for
And
white
then,
students, right, there are 17 white students disciplined out of 2,996. So,
mm-hmm,
I mean, it's great the math is in there, but just in
mm-hmm,
case
mm-hmm.
that's where, and then, yeah, you're just dividing
Yep,
those percentages together.
exactly. Thank you for explaining that.
Sure.
That's probably helpful for some people to know. Okay, so there's just one other thing I want to show you is how to find data from previous years. And so you might want to do this. You might want to look and see trends over time in school discipline. We do see fluctuations from year to year. So using these arrows at the top left-hand corner of the screen, right under the name of your municipality, you can move from year to year. And I'll show you what that, oops, wrong. I'll show you what that looks like. So right now we're in the most recent year of data, which is 2022. But so we go back to 2021 and you can see you have a forward and a backward arrow. You can go to 2020. And it goes back about approximately a decade, I think actually a decade of data.
And so if they just went back to the template toolkit and made a new copy and called that
Mhm,
copy 2021,
mhm,
they could paste in the 2021 data and then do the same thing for any years they going back.
mhm. Exactly. And that is what we have done. And we found it really useful to look at rates of um, racial inequities in school discipline over time. We also have found it useful to look at data for Melrose in comparison with the surrounding communities. And in doing so, we found that Melrose has one of the worst rates of school discipline over time over the last decade compared to 12 surrounding communities. So that's it. That's our toolkit. Before you share the data, we have a couple recommendations for you. Check that you selected the city or town that you intended. I showed you how to check that. Check that you copied the data for the intended year and that you pasted things into the sheet correctly. You can spot check a couple of cells to make sure it looks just like the data from the state, and always have someone else check your work. You do this as a practice, and we're human, so a couple times we've found errors in it. We're glad to find those before making the data public.
And
And
what
then
I guess one thing we always say about these toolkits is this is kind of the start of the conversation. Like
mhm,
no data set is perfect. People will push back and say there are flaws for this, that, or the other. The
mhm,
point is these data tell a story of discipline in
mhm,
your city and if there are disparities by race. And so it is better to start with some understanding and just have courage. There will be pushback, but it's important to understand the story for what's been reported.
mhm. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.